Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Arundhati Ramanan and here are the top headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. A late sell-off on the Wall Street takes Nifty below 19,400. Sensex loses over 200 points, but midcaps buck the trend with that index gaining over 150 points. TCS first quarter earnings largely in line with muted estimates. Constant currency revenue growth is flat. The company announces an interim dividend of 9 rupees per share. Shares of Nazara Tech and Delta Corp get battered after GST Council imposes 28% tax on online gaming and casinos. Delta Corp sees 1,600 crore rupees in market capitalization wiped out. Nazara Tech says the company will have to rework its strategy, but also adds that real money gaming accounts for only 5% of its business.
It's neither a decision of the center nor of the states alone. It's a decision of both the states and the center. They were all one. They were all unanimous.
Revenue Secretary Sanjay Malhotra clarifies that the GST for online gaming was always at 28%, says it was the gaming companies which had interpreted it as 18%, adds that there was unanimity on the 28% GST rate. A CNBC-TV18 exclusive, RoyalEnfield amps up its India game plan, gears up to launch 2 to 3 bikes in the next 5 months. Eicher Motors shares race. Sources say the list could include the new 350cc Bullet platform and a new 450cc Himalayan. The 350cc segment is set to see increased competition with the entry of Bajaj Triumph and Hero and Harley. Private equity players continue to bet big on hospitals. Quadria Capital invests 1,300 crore rupees in Maxivision Eye Hospital. TPG, Temasek, General Atlantic and Kedara Capital have already made investments into eye care hospitals. North India grapples with heavy rainfall. Over 30 people killed in Himachal Pradesh in the last 24 hours. Delhi government seeks centre's intervention as the Yamuna River's water level touches an all-time high. NATO leaders unveil a 3-part multi-year plan to bring Ukraine closer to an alliance. Zelenskyy said it's understandable that the nation cannot join the alliance during the war, but adds that a membership invitation would have been ideal. This comes a day after he criticized NATO for not giving a timeline to Ukraine's membership bid. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening, but first up to the day's trading action. The market fell sharply in the last hour. Nifty and Sensex ended 0.25% in the red, with the Nifty giving up that 19,400 mark. Midcaps continue to outperform, with that index ending close to 0.5% in the green. Banks fell in line with benchmark indices. IT was the largest laggard. That index fell 1% ahead of quarterly earnings. Surabhi Upadhyay is here with all of those details. Surabhi?
Well, it was a tale of two cities, or a tale of two markets really on the street today. You had the large caps on one hand where there was some negativity, and then there was a relentless mid-cap party. Let me start with the large caps. Now here for the Nifty, it's becoming very clear that the zone of 19,500 to 19,520, this is becoming a resistance area for the market, because 5-6 trading sessions, the market has struggled around this level. Today, the Nifty, in fact, closed below 19,400 as well. So where was the pressure coming in from? IT, of course, there's been weakness in the run-up to the earnings, and that played out today on TCS, HCL Tech, Infosys. The other areas were private banks, where we saw the likes of HDFC Bank, even Axis, coming under some pressure. And metals were a bit of a lackluster area today. In addition, let's talk about oil and gas, because when we came into trade, Brent oil prices were almost touching $80 a barrel. That's about a 2-month high. So ONGC was the best performing stock on the Nifty, but this became an excuse for profit taking when it comes to the OMCs, which have rallied really hard. So IOC, HPCL, BPCL, these stocks were slightly lower. Now I'm coming to the mid-cap party, because this is the bigger story. The kind of momentum is absolutely astonishing. I'll just give some examples. The kind of stock rally that we're seeing. Mankind Pharma, recent listing, up about 8%. Paytm, up 6%. Syrma SGS from the electronics manufacturing space, sizzling away. And these are stocks that have already run 67%, 60 to 70% so far this year. So big moves coming in on many of these names. NCC, Ashoka Buildcon, J&K Bank. It's a really long list. Of course, the stock headline of the day came in the form of the GST blow on online gaming as well as casinos. Delta Corp, final count was down almost 23%. Nazara had a cut of about 3% as well. We come back to some pretty important cues tomorrow. Of course, the market reacts to the IT numbers, but inflation is also important. The India print, of course, will be there by the evening. And we'll also have, of course, the US CPI print. Markets around the world pretty much have factored in at least one more rate hike from the Fed. So as long as the inflation print in the US is not much of a howler, perhaps it will be taken in stride.
Right, Sabri, many thanks for those details. Now, in Earnings Corner, IT major TCS has reported a first quarter earnings largely in line with muted estimates. Now, the company's constant currency revenue growth is flat, while deal wins stay above $10 billion. Reema Tendulkar is here with all of those details on the numbers. Reema, largely in line set there?
Thanks so much for that. It's a subdued quarter from TCS, so the macroeconomic uncertainty is playing on TCS, but it's in line with what the street was anticipating. In fact, we would say it's not as bad as what some in the market would have feared. The company has clocked in a dollar revenue growth of 0.4%. Constant currency revenue growth is flat, just a 0% growth, and this is the lowest June quarter growth that we've seen in over a decade ex of COVID. Margins have fallen by 130 basis points quarter on quarter, impacted by the wage hikes, and this has resulted in a drop in the company's profitability by 2.8%. The company has seen weakness in BFSI, communication, and high tech. These verticals have seen a decline in revenue on a quarter-on-quarter basis. And in terms of geographies, North America growth has slowed down, while UK remains on a very solid footing. Hiring numbers are also fairly weak for the company. The company this time, like we saw last time, the company's hiring number has come in at just close to about 523 employees. Attrition is further ticked down to 17.8%. The silver lining in the numbers is the deal wins. Deal wins have ticked up to $10.2 billion, above the company's quarterly guidance of $7 to $9 billion, and the company says this does not include the BSNL deal.
So muted quarter there for TCS. Thank you so much for those details, Reema. Now, shares of Nazara Tech and Delta Corp got battered in trade after the GST Council imposed 28% tax on online gaming and casinos. Now, Delta Corp witnessed a 1,600 crore rupee market capitalization wipeout, and another online gaming behemoth, Nazara Tech, said that the company will have to rework its strategy, but added that real money gaming accounts for only 5% of its business. And speaking to CNBC-TV18, Revenue Secretary Sanjay Malhotra clarified that GST levied on online gaming was always at 28% and that there was unanimity from the council on that rate. Take a look.
This is neither a decision of the center nor of the states alone. It's a decision of both the states and the center. They were all one, they were all unanimous that it has to be 28%. It is 28%. It is 28% on face value. And this is what they have reiterated. It's not a change or a departure. And as I mentioned,
no, it's 18%
states,
on platform fee.
this is what the online gaming companies have been interpreting it. And so that's why the council has said that to clear the air and to put, all debate to rest, because they have taken a certain line saying that these are actionable claims, these are gains which are actionable claims, not amounting to betting, gambling, lottery, etc.
Of this particular announcement potentially on our skill-based real money gaming business, which is limited to 5% of our revenues in FY23, will be minimal, and that is what we have clarified. But of course, with this development which has just happened yesterday, we will of course have to see how this plays out, the relevant impact to the industry and our own strategy there. It's all work in progress at this point of time.
And meanwhile, multiplex operators welcome the GST Council's clarification that food and beverages sold in cinema halls will attract a GST of 5% and not 18%. The clarification came as the Multiplex Association of India sought the same amid reports that cinema halls received notices over the GST they were charging. PVR Inox's Chief Financial Officer Nitin Sood told CNBC-TV18 that the move won't impact them as theatres were already charging 5% GST without availing input tax credit.
Cinema industry, which is approximately 9,000 screens across the country, post introduction of GST, were always charging a 5% GST rate, which was introduced when the concept of restaurant service was introduced without availment of input tax credit.
Disney is exploring sale or partnership options for its Star India business. This, according to the Wall Street Journal, which reported that the entertainment giant has reached out to banks to find ways to help the India business grow. The talks are at a nascent stage and no potential entity has been approached. This comes after the company failed to raise funds to grow its business further. Shares of Zuari Agro rose in early trade, and this comes after reports said that the company is looking to offload stake in Mangalore Chemicals. Sources say that the company is in talks with Paradeep Phosphates to sell its stake in subsidiary Mangalore Chemicals. The company is looking to monetize the stake in its subsidiary to raise cash. Currently, Zuari Agro owns 54% in Mangalore Chemicals. And in the auto space, domestic passenger vehicle sales in June rose by over 2% year-on-year to 3.27 lakh units, while two-wheeler sales jumped 1.7% to 13.3 lakh units. This is according to data released by the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers. As for three-wheelers, it witnessed a twofold jump in sales to over 53,000 units versus 26,000 units in June 2022. And staying with the auto sector, onto a CNBC-TV18 exclusive, Eicher Motors rallied 1% after we learned from sources that Royal Enfield has geared up to maintain its position in the 250cc plus segment. The firm is set to launch 2 to 3 motorcycles in 5 months. Remember, Eicher Motor was under pressure after Bajaj Auto and Hero Motor launched motorcycles in the 350cc segment to compete with its Royal Enfield offering. Parikshit Luthra joins us now with the latest. Parikshit, what are you picking up?
Last few days, we have been seeing a large number of launches in the 400cc segment. We've seen interest from Bajaj Auto and Triumph, and we've seen interest from Hero and Harley Davidson as well. Eicher stock has been under pressure. We're now learning that Eicher Motors, Royal Enfield, is gearing up with at least 2 to 3 new motorcycle launches in the next 5 months. And these could help the company consolidate its position in the middleweight motorcycle segment. In fact, the new 350cc Bullet platform could come very soon in the next few weeks. There is a 450cc Himalayan, which is also in the works, and this could be launched in 3 months' time. What will this do? This will further increase the options for the consumer who is looking at Royal Enfield in the 350 and the 400cc segment. They already have the Himalayan 411 and the Scram 411cc. So now with the 450cc engine Himalayan, there will be 3 400cc segment options that Royal Enfield would be giving. We're also learning from our sources that the Hunter sales will be a big volume driver for Royal Enfield going forward, and Royal Enfield sales of the Hunter will soon hit the 2 lakh mark next month, and this is within 1 year of the launch. So what we are learning that Royal Enfield will not just be depending on the Himalayan to drive its volumes or the 400cc segment, but the 250cc segment and above will be a priority for the company. There will be new launches and Hunter will continue to drive volumes. So let's see. Yes, there will be pressure on RE because of Triumph and because of Hero and Harley Davidson and the pricing. But Royal Enfield is also gearing up to bring new models to consolidate its position and fight back.
Right, Parikshit. Many thanks for all those details. Now, shares of SpiceJet declined 11% intraday after reports said that aviation regulator put the company under enhanced surveillance. According to PTI, the company has been under surveillance for more than 3 weeks, and this includes increased night surveillance and spot checks. However, the airline has refuted the developments. Days after Foxconn exited its $19.5 billion joint venture with Vedanta, Group Chairman Anil Agarwal has said that they have lined up partners for their semiconductor bet. Addressing the 58th annual general meeting of Vedanta, Agarwal said that India is ready to tap into the huge opportunity in the chip-making space and that the company will begin the foray semiconductor, fab and display fab this year, subject to government approval. The government has directed the national cooperative federations to procure tomatoes from mandis in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Maharashtra. The aim of this exercise is for simultaneous distribution in major consumption centers where retail prices have skyrocketed. The government has also said that the procured produce will be distributed via retail outlets at a discounted price to consumers in the Delhi NCR region. On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, incessant rains batter North India with many states witnessing heavy to very heavy rainfall. More than 100 people have lost their lives due to disruptions caused by floods. Details when we come back. Stay tuned.
You see, Yamuna has crossed the danger level mark.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Business 360. Rains batter North India. More than 100 people have lost their lives due to disruptions caused by floods across states. Himachal Pradesh is the worst hit. Over 30 people have been killed in the last 24 hours. A flood alert has been issued in riverbelt regions of Haryana and Delhi as the Yamuna River breaches the danger levels. Now, the Delhi government has sought the centre's intervention after water levels touched an all-time high. Heavy rains in Haryana as well. Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar has called an emergency meeting to review the situation. Home Minister Anil Vij's Ambala residence has also been flooded. In Uttarakhand, at least 9 pilgrims were killed and 13 were injured in a landslide. The Kedarnath Yatra has been halted due to heavy downpour. Our team of reporters across states filed this report.
You see, Yamuna has crossed the danger level mark. In fact, 48 hours have already been passed. In fact, day before yesterday, Yamuna crossed the danger level mark. But as of now, it is flowing above to the 207 mark. Whenever we talk about the flood condition in the national capital, so this whole scene, in fact, reminds us of the 1978 when the water level was in fact recorded at 207.48.
I'm coming to you from one of the worst affected areas, which is the Yamuna Bazaar area, and in fact, you can see in these visuals how high the water has actually come inside this very area, and in fact, it's a lower-lying area. And in fact, just on the bank of River Yamuna, in fact, the water level, if I can tell you, this is almost 5 feet of water. And most of the people have actually now left this very space.
यहाँ पर हम दिखाना चाहेंगे कि गंगोत्री हाईवे है ये और पूरी तरह से जल स्तर काफी बढ़ा हुआ है क्योंकि लगातार जो बारिश है वो यहाँ पर हो रही है और ऐसे में जो कांवड़िए हैं, जो यात्री हैं, वो जान को जोखिम में डाल करके इसको पार कर रहे हैं। आप देख सकते हैं कि कैसे लगातार जो पानी है वो बढ़ रहा है और ऐसे में जान हथेली पर लेकर के यात्री निकल चुके हैं।
नेशनल हाईवे पे इस वक्त है। चंडीगढ़ से शिमला की तरफ जब आप बढ़ते हैं, सोलन की तरफ, सोलन जिले में है, लेकिन हर तरफ आपको तबाही और बर्बादी की तस्वीरें देखेंगी। नेशनल हाईवे पर, नेशनल हाईवे है जो कि चंडीगढ़ से शिमला की तरफ जाता है, सोलन की तरफ जाता है। यहाँ देखिए पूरा का पूरा नेशनल हाईवे अंदर धंस गया, कई मीटर, कई फीट अंदर जाके ये धंस गया। सड़क झील के तौर पे तब्दील हो गया क्योंकि पहाड़ों से पानी आ रहा है। और ये हाल है राष्ट्रीय राजमार्ग का जो कि शिमला से चंडीगढ़ की तरफ आता है, यानी सोलन से चंडीगढ़ की तरफ जाता है। जो लोग अपने घरों से बाहर नहीं आते, वहां तक पानी पहुंचाया जाता है, खाना पहुंचाया जाता है, और जो लोग बाहर आना चाहते हैं उनको वहां से निकाला जाता है। जिनके घर में कोई सुविधा नहीं है उन्हें बाहर निकालने की कोशिश की जाती है सेना के जवानों की तरफ से, तो पूरा का पूरा हर तरफ पानी ही पानी आपको सड़क पे दिखेगा। दूसरी तरफ आप देख सकते हैं, न सिर्फ एक तरफ बल्कि दूसरी तरफ भी हाल यही है, लोगों को निकाला जा रहा है।
So rain's battering North India there. But in international news, NATO summit has entered the second day with leaders gathering in Lithuania to discuss the war in Ukraine and membership bids. NATO has unveiled a three-part package to bring Ukraine closer to the alliance. NATO chief Stoltenberg met Ukrainian President Zelenskyy and tweeted a picture of him with the president saying, "Today we meet as equals. Look forward to meeting as allies." Meanwhile, Zelenskyy said it's understandable that the nation cannot join the alliance during the war, but added that a membership invitation would have been ideal. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Business 360. Many thanks for watching, but stay tuned to CNBC TV 18. The news continues on the other side.